The year's 1920. The Prohibition was just beginning. The men went to work and the women cared for the home. Everyone who was anyone had a cigarette in their hand. Alcohol was to be consumed in the house, but only in the house. Women and men drinking together was simply unheard of, until laws drove drinking underground. One night, two young lovers were walking through town hand in hand. Despite it being a quiet evening, they decided to follow the faint sound of music. Upon arriving at the door, the young man pulled out his rectangular glass cigarette case and offered his little lady a smoke. She thanked him generously and lightly whispered the word of entry. Although the room was dim, their eyes lit up with their cigarettes. Men and women laughing, dancing, and drinking together filled the room. So many people were in their sights that even the cigarette holders were just mere glass decoration now. As the lad pulled the bar stool out for his lady and sat beside her, the bartender set aside 2 glasses. Without giving them a second look, the bartender picks up the cocktail shaker and begins to make their drinks. As the gentleman gets distracted by the elegantly handcrafted rooster at the bottom of the shaker, his date is quick to show off her wit. She explains how the image of the rooster goes back to 1800s Europe and is represented from a story of a man using a rooster tail to stir his drink. By this time, her date has been given his beverage, but he is curious as to how much his little lady knows about glass barware. He quickly points to a muddler that is sitting across the bar and asks her what its purpose was. She jumps across the counter and grabs the muddler, pestle, and a sugar cube to show him for herself. She eagerly throws the sugar cube into the bowl and smashes it with the blue-stained glass pestle in her other hand. At this time, the boy took a sip of his drink, wondering how she knew more than he did. Suddenly, the girl spits her drink out almost as fast as it went in. The drink needed more flavor, but it was far too bitter for her liking. Her date excitedly grabs the bitters bottle and shouts,
"But do you know what this is?"
Proudly, he pours some flavor into her drink and explains how the bottle only lets out a few drops, but will give it the taste she's looking for. They both can't help but show an impressed smile while sipping their drinks. As the clock ticked by and many hours passed, the glasses became empty, the cigarettes turned into ash, and the music came to a halt. In the midst of the night, the young couple didn't realize that they were the only ones left at the bar. After finishing their last sips, they took one final look at all of the glassware as they exited. A century later, the glassware that was once used in the 1920s speakeasies is now encased in the Duncan and Miller Glass Museum. These simple artifacts that are often overlooked hold history dating back to the 1800s. George Duncan and his sons created a factory to produce handcrafted artifacts to tell a story. In 100 years, the glassware we use will hold our history and be in a showcase to tell our story.